crisscross, pulling floss, needle thread from black to red, pink, navy green, and in between, snuggles my brain. I'm Stitch Me Sane, and welcome to my Flosstube channel.
Hello, my name's Carla. Welcome to my Flosstube channel at Stitch Me Sane. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and this is Flosstube number 5. Today is the 15th of January, Sunday, here in Melbourne, Australia. Thank you to all my returning subscribers and any new viewers that are joining me today. I'm excited to show you a few things, and I've got some news I want to share with you at the end of this video if you choose to stick around. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for their comments regarding my new jingle at the introduction of my videos. That was a Christmas gift from my partner Dylan. He enjoyed seeing all of the comments that you placed on my last video, and I just want to shout out, thank you. I love it. So you'll be hearing it a little bit more down the track. Also, thank you to @NikkiStitchy. She's on Flosstube and Instagram. She gave me a shout out recently on her Flosstube, and I certainly had a little more traffic to my channel since her shout out. So thank you, Nikki. I appreciate it. She's got a great channel. Go check her out. She's fairly new, like myself, to Flosstube, and she has some amazing full coverage pieces with a lot of extreme cross country, which is a method I'm finding really enjoyable of late. So thank you, Nikki. As the title of this video suggests, today I'm going to share with you some progress that I've made on my whips, albeit it hasn't been very long since I saw you last, but I have received some pretty good news about a couple of things that I wanted to share, and I know that I don't have a chance to film probably again until February, so wanted to jump on and share that while the news was still fresh in my mind and current in your world. So before we get to that exciting news, I'm going to share with you my progress that I've made since I saw you last. The first piece that I would like to start with is my big abstract stunner Sanctus. This is by an Etsy store at Electric City Stitches, Julia. She's got some amazing pieces over on Instagram. Have a look. She stitches herself as well. And I really love the color in her big full coverage abstract artwork. I'd also like to mention that at If Nothing Else Stitch Cat has started Sanctus, and I think she's really motivated me to pull mine out and get some work on it. She's already had some wonderful progress, and she started with the 939 down the bottom where I have. And before we go any further, and I actually do show you this Sanctus, in my last video I showed you the cone of doom that I'd received for Christmas from Dylan of 310. That was my very first cone. I was also hoping to receive a 939 cone of doom as well, but JK's, who is the supplier that I usually get most of my stitchy supplies from here in Australia, indicated that there would be about a 6-month wait time on a cone of 939. So Dylan actually arranged with Jeanette to get me the equivalent in skeins. So I wanted to show that to you because they do come in the boxes and they're quite nice to look at. So here is 5 boxes, I think of 12 skeins. Yes, 12 skeins of 939 DMC. This is not only for my piece Sanctus, but also for another piece that I'm doing that has a considerable amount of 939, which is Crimson Blossom and Tangerine Sky. I'm doing that one ECC, so thought I'd jump on to getting some, well, the cone of doom, but it didn't work out that way. So just wanted to show you how cool 5 little boxes of DMC looks, albeit not a cone of doom. Just on that, actually, I was watching Alira's Whip Parade It's a 3-hour epic video. I'm only partially the way through, but she highlighted in a bit that I'd seen about the batch color difference between some skeins that she'd been using and the Cone of Doom. So I'm just going to keep an eye out for that on what I've already started working on. So thanks for highlighting that, Aaliyah, and bring it to my attention. Yet again, it had slipped my mind. All right, so the other thing I wanted to say here is that Alicia at Adventures of Stitching is working feverishly on a lot of 939 as well. And she finally created a hashtag 939 Anonymous, which I quite enjoyed and is very relevant to this piece. So before we see it, this is a picture of what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I'll then pop in a picture of where it was at last time you saw it. And I have made a little bit of progress. This piece is now at 5.6% complete. I'm stitching it on a 20 count Ada, 2/1 full cross. And this is where I'm at now. I love stitching on this piece because I get a choice between the 939 block stitching down the bottom there in the corner, which I've gridded off to make it easier to come back to when I feel like it, and a lot of confetti color stitching because this piece has 143 colors. It's looking fantastic. Thanks, Kat, for motivating me to get going on this one. It's very big, and we'll see how we go moving forward with all those skeins of 939 that I now own. Okay, so the next piece that I have actually come about because I've created 2 wheels. Quite a few people on Instagram have created these wheels. I thought they were so fun because I'm not committed to Whip Go or any other out there goals. But I thought the wheel would be something that would suit me. So I've created 2 wheels on a simple app, a free app on my phone. One of the wheels has all of my current whips, and the other wheel has just some fun goals. So I think the easiest is 350 stitches on a piece, right through to 2% on a piece if I was to spin that. Whilst that doesn't sound like much, 2% on some of my bigger pieces it exceeds 2,000 stitches quite often. So that would be a challenge that would not be easily met overnight, that's for sure. But the first spin that I did recently, after being encouraged by a few people, thank you, Kaylee and Angie and Alicia, and I spun my piece Carrot Cake, which is a piece I started on the 29th of July 2021 for Barbara at Stitch Brat's birthday, and the hashtag is birthday desserts sell. This is a Carolyn Manning piece. This is what it's going to look like when I am finished. And I haven't shown you since I think my first video this piece in my whip parade from last year. This is where it was at last time that you saw it. And the wheel said that I had to do 350 stitches, which was actually 1%. So the wheel said 1%, and on this piece it equals to 358 to be precise, I believe. I haven't actually completed that goal, but I am halfway there. So I'll show you where I'm at now. This is an 18 count natural Ada, Rustico Ada actually, I think. Carolyn Manning is the designer. If you've watched any of my videos already, you know that I'm a huge fan. They're very great, fun, quick, easy stitches. They are full coverage. This is from the Shooting Star collection. And yeah, 18 count 2/1. I really like those colors coming in. I tried to stitch it around, but the recent progress that I've made, I've nearly reached the bottom here now, which is almost the edge, not quite. So I'll keep going to complete that goal on my wheel. and complete that hopefully pretty soon and give the wheel another spin. So that was really fun. The next piece I have is my travel piece, which again you'll be familiar with if you've watched any of my videos. It's Unicorn, another Carolyn Manning piece. I'll pop a picture up here of what it's going to look like when I'm finished. I'm stitching it as 4 separate pieces on a 20 count Aida 2/1. This is where I was at last time that you saw it. I haven't made a whole load of progress on this. Just to quickly mention, Carrot Cake was at 29.7% complete, and Unicorn I'm at 30.49% complete now, which is pretty exciting for something that I just do very quickly, a few stitches here and there if I'm out and about with a little bag that I carry around, which is why it's always on the hoop. I've got my needle there ready to go. As you can see, the progress that I've made, I think I filled in one of these, the pink square down here. And I think I've put some of the DMZ 30 purple up the top here. And coming into the center, more with this peachy color. I'm not sure if I'll continue working on this particular piece or swap it out moving forward now and give one of the other 4 pieces a go. But that's Unicorn. The colors are so subtle. I love the Carolyn Manning designs because they're just combinations that I would never consider to put together. Okay, my next piece is the piece I've decided to stitch for the Stitch 30 Daily piece, and I know I continue to say this and I do make a real effort. This is a dimensions kit. I'll pop a picture up here of what it's going to look like when I'm finished. It looks rather simple, but there's, as we all know with dimensions kits, there's a lot of back stitching which I haven't really started, and there's French knots as well, which I'll consider maybe doing at the end, but I might not get around to those. It's a really sweet kit, but I've been working on it for some time now and I would love to have a finish this year on it. So I have put in well over a few % progress, albeit a paper pattern. I try to keep a rough track of where I'm at with my stitches with paper patterns, but it's certainly not as accurate as Pattern Keeper. This is a picture of where it was at last time that you saw it. And as you can see, I have made a little bit more progress now on the actual cross stitches themselves. So I'm hoping to finish the flowers up the top here. Here's a bird coming in and another bird over here, the yellow bird. There's a lot of blended threads in this piece as well, particularly in the skin and the hair. I have started a little bit of the back stitching. I didn't want to leave it entirely to the end, but it really is looking like that's going to happen. So I'm going to keep working on the crosses, keep trying to make it work for my Stitch 30 Daily, and see how we go. Springtime. She's on an 14 count ivory Aida was what came in the kit, and all of the called for colors that were in the kit as well. I've got a lot of other dimensions kits that I'd like to start, but I'd really like to finish her first. Okay, my next one is a piece that I'm actually stitching for my really good friend for her next milestone birthday. She selected the piece, so I'm guaranteed that she will love it when I've finished. So I do have a goal on this one. I do need to get moving on her, but so far it's okay. I've got a few years to go so far. It's a Hay. The artwork is by Anna Dittman. I'm stitching it on a 28 count 1/1 Lugana. This is a picture of where it's going to be when it's finished. And I think it's been a few videos since you last saw it. This is not an entirely full coverage piece, but I will pop a picture up here of where you did last see it. And this is where I'm at now on it. So the whole bottom of the piece is not actually stitched, the white down the bottom. You can see her eye starting to take shape here under the needle minder. My multicolored rainbow M&M needle minder, which I really love. I think that was another one from JK's. So that's Ariel. It's a Haid, regular size, normal colours, so not max colours. I just need to get working on her. There's so many pale colours though, I really need good light, particularly being on the 28 count. But I do always work on her when I'm speaking to my friend on the phone. That's a guarantee. So she definitely gets progress. Just going to pause for a moment. Okay, I'm back. Next piece I want to show you is one you're all familiar with now, and that is my Arrival of Spring, another Haid that I am stitching for my mum. I really have a goal on this. I was speaking to Alicia actually today about it, and that I need to be consistent with that goal. I don't want to leave it until the end because it is 286 total stitch count. The artwork is by Natasha Chora, and I'm using the I Just Want to Fly cell. Anything that you're stitching with a bird, just use that hashtag on Instagram. It's quite fun as it takes shape to see. Kaylee 10 Stitch and Angie Slowly Crafts are on board there. This is a photo of what it's going to look like when I'm finished, and as you can see, there is a lot of background. I did consider not stitching it, but I feel that this piece probably needs it because it really sets the tone of maybe the location of where this girl is actually at. So since you last saw it, we looked like that, and there was quite a really good change on this one because I was working on sort of the mouth and the nose. This time I've just been working on background because it's something that really needs to move, and again I don't want to leave that until the end. So this is where we're at now, and she's now at 2.47% complete, which I'm very happy with because I started her in October last year. I really like the coverage on the 28 count. This and Ariel, the one I just showed you, were my first attempts on 28 count 1/1. And I'm thinking it might be my new favorite. So going to keep working on that, and I think you'll keep seeing that pretty regularly. All right, so now we're on to my Stitch Me Sane Wow, which is my wall of women. It's a hashtag that I've created on Instagram because I have a vision of a wall of women of amazing artwork that I have stitched of strong female images. If you're interested in having a look at that hashtag, please do. And I also always leave the details of all the pieces that I show in the description box of each of my videos if you're interested in anything that I've had to show you. Okay, so my first one that I've been working on for my wow is another one of my Haids. I have 5, and I've actually shown you 3 of my Haids today. This one is Paradise Found that I started for my birthday last year, and I've given myself 10 years to finish it until my next milestone birthday. I'm now at 2.7%. I recently posted this one on Instagram. I'll show you a photo of what it's going to look like when it's finished. I really love the detail in the background of this piece. It's not like any other piece that I've stitched. The background makes this piece. And as I'm going, I'm just blown away by the detail that's coming through. I was a little bit worried that it might not show. I'm currently working on that lacy part at the top there, and if you have a look, you can see some subtle musical notes. It moves over to just above her head, which I'm excited to move on to. This piece also has Chronic in it, which I forgot about because it's going to be so far in the future when I finally get to working on that section, which is in the dress and lower down a little bit in the background there. So this is where I was at last time that you saw it. I have made a fair bit of progress actually, and yeah, 2.7% now. This is a 25 count 1/1, and this is where we're now at. As you can see, the flower is really coming in there now. And that lacy part I was talking to you about, the top, running along the top. I've actually subbed in 403 Anchor Black instead of using 310 on this piece, and so far I'm really enjoying the coverage. I think it's important, I might highlight here, I actually sub in a lot of anchor into my full coverage pieces if I don't have the DMC, or there's quite a lot of skeins needed and I have the substitute color option in anchor. Whilst anchor isn't readily available here in Australia, I was lucky enough to pick up a really big parcel in an op shop, a thrift store, I think a lot of you refer to those stores as. And since then, I've been subbing because I really want to use them. Anyway, that's Paradise Bound while I carry on about substituting. So don't be afraid to substitute. The Thread Stash app that I use now actually with the recent update, if you're in the project, is really helpful because it takes you straight to the substitute. And it's not just Anchor on there, there's other brands that pop up. So that's been really helpful to me if you use that Thread Stash app. Really good tip. So that's the first one for my Wall of Women Paradise Found. The artwork is Janelle Nickel. I understand that she's a Canadian artist, and that's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Okay, this is the last one that I have to show you today that I've worked on since I last saw you. This is becoming a favorite of mine quite quickly, and there's a lot of people working on this one on Instagram, at Sammy Stitches, Teresa 977, I think. It's a piece by Contemporary Cross. Paula is also working on Midnight Poppy. Kaylee Tent Stitch is also working on her, and it's part of a cell, Emmy Cell, which is the artist Emmy Mustonen. This is a picture of what it's going to look like when it's finished. Isn't she stunning? I also have a companion piece, Crimson Blossom, which I highlighted earlier. I'm stitching both of them as an extreme cross country method of stitching. This is my first time attempting this method. I'm new to it. I think what I've learned is it's something I'm going to have to work on regularly, but in small doses, because there's just no color to it. But I really want to continue to challenge myself and see how it takes shape with the two colors that I've selected first, because once I've completed them, sorry, I'm referring to two pieces now, back to Midnight Poppy on its own. I've selected the 310 to start with, which is why I got the Cone of Doom originally. Once I've finished that 310, I think I've got free range of any color option from there on in. So I just have to persevere, get through the 77 odd thousand 310 stitches first, which I'm going to power on with, and it is going to take shape in a way that I imagine is going to look amazing. So I'm stitching it on a 28 count linen, which I've also had to adjust to as well, because my tension is often quite tight, and I have found stitching on Lugana versus linen is I've had to back off a little bit on my tension on the linen to get that coverage looking still very nice. So this is Midnight Poppy. This is where I was at last time you saw it. And I have now reached the 0.5% mark. And this is where I'm at now. Sorry, trying to get that light looking good. I'm so pleased with how it's taking shape. I do have to really concentrate because, as we all know, one stitch off and it's all over on these big full coverage pieces, which are my preference. So there we are. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided whether I'm going to swap this out for Crimson Blossom or keep working on this one until you see me again, or maybe work on them both, who knows. But I'm actually going to come into the contour of her face. So I went for a center start, which is what I often do, particularly on my wow pieces with the faces, so that then I have the opportunity to stitch wherever I want. So yeah, this is going to be the contour of her face soon, and once the face comes in, I think it'll already start taking shape. Okay, so that's all the progress that I have to show you since I last saw you, and they're my 2 wow pieces that I have been working on. As I said, Stitch Me Saying Wow for my wall of women is the hashtag on Instagram if you want to have a look at it. Now, I have some sad news before we get into the happy news, and that is that one of the pieces that I had some serious progress on for my wall of women is no longer going to be. So it's been withdrawn from my WIP pile. The reason being, I suspected a little while ago that it may be a copyrighted piece. I now have confirmed the artist, and indeed it is just that. I won't feel proud working on her and finishing her moving forward, so have decided to eliminate her from my mind, because I think it's really important to support the artists out there that are really going out of their way and working so extremely hard to bring us the most amazing things to stitch. So on that sad note, the happy news is that my wall of women needs a replacement. I've been looking pretty solidly at the Maxine Gadd website because there are some phenomenal pieces on there, and having the South African roots through my partner Dylan, I felt that I needed another representation of that culture, and this is the winner to become my new start. I don't know when I'm going to start her, but it's Nook Solo, and I really wanted to share her with you. I am going to give it a go at removing the background on this piece. However, it is a max color chart, so I'm not too sure how we'll go. Having a quick look at the download that I've already put into Pattern Keeper, but that's the plan. So center start and try and work around that that background. I can use it for the Ditch the Background sell, which is on Instagram. And so taking that into consideration, I have chosen a fabric that I had in my stash. I've actually got a lot of this fabric. It is sort of a little bit like a Hessian, and after I measured it out, it works out to be a 22 count, so I'm not really too sure if I'm going to do her 1/1 or 2/1. I've done a couple of sample swatches and I'm still not convinced on either. But this is the fabric. I'll show it to you, and I'm thinking that that might work quite nicely if I work around that background. So yeah, sort of like a bit of a Hessian, and it does have a bit of a fluffier feel than any of the other fabrics that I've got. So I can't even tell you what exactly it is, but I'm going to give it a go because I think it's going to work really nicely. Wish me luck, another Max Color 230 to add to my collection of wow. So that's some of the news that I have to share with you today. I just wanted to highlight those copyright issues that I know that we all face and come across, but I just felt important to bring it to people's attention again, because it really is all about being educated. I know it's taken, when I first entered this world, it's taken me some time to learn all about it. So the more we talk about it, I think the better. Alrighty, more news. We have, oh, this one I'm super excited for. If you've watched my past videos, you will have seen my piece, Chicago, which is by the artist Heather Geller. A lot of you have expressed interest in the Heather Geller artwork. And I sadly have shared with you that the Gecko Rouge kit that I purchased some years ago is discontinued together with the artist from Gecko Rouge. And to my knowledge, no one else was charting her. I am really excited to share this with you, that we now have another option of Heather Geller. Unconventional Cross Stitch has managed to secure the licensing rights to chart her work. She has so many amazing Frida pieces, and Jody, I can't wait to see what you do with the Heather Geller artwork. So I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for everybody to be able to maybe get their own Chicago or version of or just a slice of colour that is the artwork of Heather Geller. Thanks so much for sharing that with me, Jodie. It made me beam from ear to ear. And I am also aware that some of you are already aware of this, and it has been recently shared in Jodie's newsletter. So I highly recommend subscribing to the Unconventional Cross Stitch newsletter, where you get all the sneak peeks early. Just on that, leading into February, which is what I've read from her newsletter, is that Unconventional Cross Stitch are going to be doing a hashtag UXS28 for the month of February. And essentially it's to try and work on an unconventional cross stitch piece every day, whether it touch it for 50 stitches, you know, work on some fabric or kitting or ideas or downloading a chart or whatever it might be. I've got 3 unconventional cross stitch whips on the go, so I will certainly be participating in that hashtag UXS28. Jodie, great idea. I love a hashtag. Thank you. You'll be seeing my progress on Instagram and the fan club page on Facebook. Finally, the other exciting news I wanted to share was that I have put in an expression of interest to attend the Victorian Stitches retreat in Shepparton in May. Oh goodness, Emily from Stitcher Oz M or Oz Stitcher M on Instagram brought it to my attention, and that was it. I joined the Facebook group. I did everything I needed to do. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to hearing more news about, you know, what's going to be happening and what to expect. It's my very first retreat. I have seen so many of you attending amazing retreats in all places of the world, and I'm so excited. So any of you that are watching, if you're considering going or are going, reach out. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person. And finally, before I finish this video up, as I said, I probably won't get a chance to film again until February, where I will be working on my unconventional cross stitches. So before then, I will be working on probably pieces that aren't from that designer, because I'm conscious of that hashtag coming up. But I wanted to thank you all very much, because I am blown away by the response to my floss tubes. Albeit this is number 5, I still feel like I'm really new to this world. Thank you for the support. My channel is getting very close to the 1K subs mark, and I am thinking a giveaway will be on the cards for that milestone moment of achievement, because that's a proud moment. It's just goes to validate the support of this community, and it is wonderful. So thank you very much, and keep an eye out for that number growing to the point where we can celebrate together. In the meantime, that is the wonderful news that I've got to share. Thank you so much if you've stuck around to hear it. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and in the meantime, happy stitching.